The last one before lunch break. I am the lucky one.
You're the third last.
The third last, yes. Dear Tasmina, dear Mark, dear friends, thank you so much. I want to start by mentioning two examples to show the diplomatic power of culture. Some years ago, I was in the West Bank as a legal expert sent by SIDA, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, to try to resolve a legal dispute with the principal of Birzeit University. The situation was, to say the least, tense. When I started to lose hope for a solution, one of the principal adult children came to the meeting, just to leave something for their father. When he discovered that I was from Sweden, he wondered if I liked jazz music, which I do. It turned out that his absolute favorite artist was from Sweden, the jazz artist Victoria Tolstoy, and we briefly talked warm about her. After that short meeting, his father was immediately inclined to find a solution to our legal dispute. A female jazz singer from Sweden solved our legal problem in the West Bank. Perhaps a simple example, but culture is the bridge to understanding each other. The second example is when I was Minister of Culture for Sweden. The Russian invasion of Ukraine had just begun. I received a call from the director of the National Museum in Kiev, Ukraine. I was previously and if there is one thing we know, it is that one of the first things a hostile country does is cultural heritage. Without its history, true fact, it becomes easy to rewrite the history, the truth. What I did was to launch a rescue operation of the most important cultural heritage. The whole thing was successful through truck transport from Kiev at the beginning of the war with the Swedish National Heritage Board. But it would not have been possible without the understanding and high knowledge of the importance of culture. Without past and present, no future. Wars do not begin with weapons. They begin with fear, with mistrust, and with dehumanization of others. Culture, through art, music, language, stories, remind us of our shared humanity. It allows us to see the others, not the enemy, but as a person with hopes and dreams like our own. When politics fails, culture can open doors to dialogue. When propaganda spreads hate, culture tells the stories that build empathy. And when violence ends, culture helps societies heal and rebuild community. Politics may silence the guns, but only culture can stop the seeds of war from being planted in the first place. So, keys to prevent conflict for culture and women's empowerment. Promote inclusive dialogue. Create safe spaces where women and marginalized groups can share perspectives and resolve differences peacefully. Strengthens education and awareness. encourage cultural understanding, gender equality, and human rights education to challenge harmful stereotypes and prevent tensions. Empower women in decision making. Ensure women's activity, participation in political, economic, and community leadership to build balance and fair solution. Counting, counting, counting. Protect cultural diversity. Respect and celebrate cultural traditions while addressing practices that limit women's rights, ensuring harmony between heritage and empowerment. Build strong legal frameworks. Enforce laws that safeguard women from discrimination and violence, reducing triggers for conflict. Encourage economic empowerment. Provide women with equal access to resources, jobs, and financial independence. Promote community-based mediation. Use local cultural practices of reconciliation and negotiation to prevent escalation of disputes. And the last one, foster solidarity and alliances. Support collaboration between cultural leaders, women's organizations, and governments to create sustainable peace. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.